Are we ready? Are we ready to unveil?
We're on. Thomas,
Right, no attention
Brooke,
to that.
Debbie, and moi. Okay, gas brader's on.
All right. Oh, it is amazing.
No gas, he's embarrassing me.
Oh my God. Oh, I
There we
have
go.
seen, Akiva, I've seen this figure before, haven't I?
Look at this photo up here.
I have seen this figure before.
There's a
Yes.
detail from Show a Dream.
Yes, yes, yes. That's why I've seen it before, because it was in the big work.
Right. That big work was exhibited at Seattle Central, by the way, in 1998.
And I was
You were
there.
teaching there.
I was at the time, but I don't think I
Didn't see the
saw
show,
it.
probably, yeah.
Yeah,
So-
it was in the center of a room of Akiva's
Yeah, it was
art.
on I had it set as a tabletop piece. It was only half done at the time.
Right, yeah.
And so this is called The Sea Monsters and the Child with the Bird's Nest Scarf in the Kielce ghetto, Nazi-occupied Poland, January 1st, 1942.
2 months before I'm born.
Inspired by that photo on the left there.
I'm also amazed at the rippling of this over here. That is really stunning work.
Thank you. Rippling, you're talking about the
It
tail?
appears
Or
that it
the-
undulates.
Ah,
Yeah.
Top to
Yeah.
bottom.
It does, yeah.
Maybe it doesn't.
No, it
But
does.
the lighting on it, it makes me think so.
huh.
No, it
And
does
it-
have that,
An undulating sea monster.
Ah, that's right.
because it stands out so much, and
Yeah, yeah.
it does.
Wow.
How about this sea monster over here?
That sea monster over there.
Has a profoundly
Oh,
dominant eye there.
yes.
Yes.
And wicked teeth.
And wicked
yes, They
teeth.
both have wicked teeth, but this one is, I think the teeth are a little wickeder on this one. But,
Hear that?
but-
Wickeder.
and there's
Is
also
that a word, English professor?
wickeder,
Yes,
Wickeder?
a sand
And
dollar.
sand dollar,
And a
yes.
sand dollar.
What-
Whoa.
Sand dollar heart, perhaps?
I might have brought that back from beach walks or beach swimming in West Palm Beach over the years when
Wow.
my mom lived there. I don't remember.
You have carried things from all over the world to your
Yes.
work.
No, and it's all this wood and metal and bits of things. And tools, candle holder.
Yep.
Um,
The candle holder again. The base of these recent works that you have done. It reminds me of an altar.
That's what
Of course.
that was my first impression. when I
Yours
saw
too.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When
So-
I first said that, Akiva, you were pretty taken aback. You didn't think of it as.
Actually, yeah, I'd added onto the base several years after I had completed a work. I had decided to tile the base, and you saw it. We have this on video,
Yeah, yeah.
and you described it as an altarpiece. I guess I was taken aback because there are no altarpieces in synagogues.
Yes. Yep.
So it was out of my
And I,
experiential, aside from art history knowledge or whatever.
Well, it's kind of a shrine in
thank
a
you.
way.
Thank you. Yes?
Actually, that relates to an observation a Jewish acquaintance friend of many years had said when she saw one of these some years ago, and she said it made her think of like as if the person was like enshrined like in a coffin in a way, except with a visual imagery of such.
Yeah, I see that.
I'll point out what did I want to point out here? The pliers, I think I just picked off the sidewalk or ground somewhere in the neighborhood here.
Mm-hmm.
The cup,
Yes.
I bought at a shop in Jaffa, which is a mixed like Arab Jewish city near Tel Aviv.
Does the cup something that would be used ritually?
It could have been in an earlier phase of its existence.
Right.
It might have been used at a Passover Seder, for example, or just at a Sabbath meal.
Sure.
I forget, this might be some Hebrew writing incised on it, I forget.
To look carefully there, but let's see.
Right.
Might as
Me
well
too.
get-
Me too.
Might as well get my eye. It looks very rubbed, and so if there was writing there, it's almost as if it were so tarnished it's illegible. You know.
Yeah. Yeah.
These things were from family games stuff that I brought back when I helped, my folks moved from New York to Florida, and some
Yeah.
stuff I ended up with.
And more seashells down there, the anemone.
Oh, good.
This one here,
Good.
Brain coral.
and I forget where I got this.
I was going to ask you
It
about
might
that.
have been at a charity thrift shop in Scotland, but I forget.
Uh-huh.
So I wanted to get your perspective, Brooke, on
Wow.
this here,
Mm-hmm.
which turned into a certain visual depiction I'm not going to state. But after I adhered this on here to keep it secure, I thought this has a certain,
DNA.
Oh, I don't know.
oh, come on.
No, I'm sorry.
He's a retired
DNA.
pastor. What?
DNA.
D-
She was
DNA?
seeing a double helix.
Oh, it's
Double
DNA.
Oh, but this also, yeah, looks like a cross.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
That's what I thought. I thought it has a
Holy mackerel, I didn't
Yeah.
see it. Thanks,
holy
Debbie.
mackerel.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, or
So
the
I
filter.
thought, after I did that, I thought, oh, this is good. Some Christians are going to interpret this with a Christian, a kind of
Well-
graphic interpretation, and
Well,
he
this
missed
Christian
it.
certainly didn't see it.
Well, no,
That-
you could say that, the original candle holder from a Jewish context has been, turned into a cross with this horrible, piece of metal, what I mean, containing it, crushing it.
Crushing it even.
Yes.
Yeah, more than containing it.
Okay, huh.
It,
And lately I've been thinking, now and then when I think about the Holocaust, particularly about the murder of Jewish victims in the Holocaust, aside from the 4 million non-Jews who were murdered, that the anti-Semitic hatred of Jewish people, as fomented by certain Christians over at least 1,000+ years of Christian European history,
All the
to
pogroms, yeah.
me, it's anti-Christian as well. And on a really fundamental level, Jesus having been Jewish.
yeah, well, it's anti-human is what it is. It's the essence of inhumanity.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, but
So, Akiva,
very
Yes.
powerful work.
I'm thinking about this conversation about altar and shrine. And you and I have known each other for decades, and I've seen the work that you've done. I don't know. So an altar and a shrine partly being places of worship. I don't know that I've ever heard you say that your art is an act of worship.
Did I say that now?
Oh, still haven't.
Is an
Still
art
haven't.
is an act
I'm
of
curious to
worship
know.
We talked about it being an act of therapy, but
in terms of the work over there. But I have to think about what do you mean? My art as an act of worship?
Let me give you an example. I have a dear friend who is a geologist, and when he works to refine his maps
You can-
of the Northwest,
Stay there. Here you.
and he creates graphic.
Kneeling at the altar.
He says, and I need to tell you that he's also the
You could
past-
take this one. It has a harder back,
Okay.
better for your
Okay.
back.
He's also a past moderator of my former church and a professed atheist, which makes any conversation with him wonderfully rich. Anyway, what he says about his map making, and he spreads maps out in front of people, and it shows all of the computer-generated information on it. He says, "This is my worship."
This is my worship.
That's right. Now, I don't know all that he means by that. I think I understand him to be saying, this is the deepest work I know how to do in my life. And I do it as an offering to the universe. That's my best understanding of what I think he's saying.
I guess an association that comes to mind to me about me and my work and myself. I have to get
Yes.
better English. We have a retired English professor here. I don't want to get a D grade here. Is that for years I always described myself as being non-spiritual
Interesting.
until some point in the early years of working on the Under the Wings series, then called Under the Wings of God in the 1990s. I kind of reluctantly, perhaps, but would consent to the idea, when it would come up in conversation, that my works are very spiritual in a way.
I would say
Especially in
that's
the Unvoiding
unavoidable.
series.
That's unavoidable.
Unavoidable.
Yes.
But you made, that's quite a transition you made then, in what you claim for yourself. A non-spiritual person, and yet, this is expression of something spiritual for you.
Perhaps.
Perhaps, yeah.
That's kind of like a,
I can see the spiritual in so many things, even though I am a devout atheist, so I can see that.
I love the terminology devout atheist, by the way.
Yes, good.
No, I'm a materialist and all of that, but I do see that, that there are so many aspects of life that cannot simply, cannot be reduced to simple terminology and to a mechanistic way of looking at things. They're emotional. They're too deep for words in some ways.
Good.
Yeah.
Yeah, I hear that.
Debbie, anything you'd like to add
Well,
on any topic from A to Z?
Thinking of making art or maps as worship, I think I have sort of that feeling sometimes when I'm playing music or in the garden, just a deep appreciation for creation, for
The natural world?
for
Is
the
that-
natural world, the way things
And
grow.
the human world,
the-
the creativity that
And-
the
Let her
natural
speak,
world
let her speak.
allows.
And the patterns of the universe and what we can do with them,
Uh-huh.
Mathematical?
and musical.
Yeah, well, I mean, she's a mathematician, so.
And you play music as well? What instrument?
Cool.
Violin.
Ah,
Do
great.
you really?
Huh.
I'm also a violinist.
Yeah.
I play a lot less than I used to, but I love my instrument,
too.
and I know what I would take from our apartment if it started on fire.
Yes.
I'm just visually, I'm really loving the blues, the greens, a bit of burgundy here, and it translates. It's quite different on the other side. You accent
Coloration
different
wise.
colors. Yeah, yeah.
So what, to bring this to sort of an abstract and not,
This is 13 minutes now. I'm gonna turn this one off. Thank you, and I'll just start a new short one.
Well, also, we probably
yeah,
do
we
need
are
to
going to
It's
go, we have to
2:15.
pick up